let's check that out. Slide that off. And inside it looks like we have another cool art on the box. One side color, one side not. And as soon as you saw some other video, I already have this alternate head I bought online. Hey, Paul. Yep, it's pretty cool, man. So let's pull him out of there. Let's take a look at his articulation. So it looks like he has an ankle rocker. It's like he has a double jointed knee. The joints are really stiff, so I'm kind of afraid to force them. This one bends a little easier. His leg moves. His waist moves. His shoulder, his arms. That joint's stiff. So is that one. They put a lot of plastic on it to protect them from rubbing. That's really cool. Hey, Hebrew fans. This is Todd again, and so I'm going to go ahead and unbox this Tytus figure, and we'll take a look at him. So, on the back, we got some other figures listed, and then we also have his bio. I'll go ahead and hold that there so you can pause and look at it. All right, so let's go ahead and open this. You know, very lightweight for the size of it, and they also have very little articulation. The shoulders move, the elbows move, the hands move, but the shoulders don't go up and down very far. Actually, not supposed to at all. They did have like a ratcheting motion in here too. You see in the camera those little bumps in his shoulder to kind of make the ratcheting effect. And he does have one hand that can hold his weapon. His legs move just back and forth, no side movement, and his knees move as well. Now, the first one I got a long time ago, this knee was mislocated, so I had to take it apart and relocate it. Now, this Tytus does stand pretty well. I've had some that have a hard time standing, and sometimes this shoulder gets kind of loose. In fact, this one's already kind of loose before I even used it. And the reason for that, hold on. There we go, just like that. And it goes on his hand, and now he has this really heavy weapon that goes in there. And the idea is just to be able to pick up Snake Man with this, but it really doesn't work that well. Let's see how tall he is next to someone like Tytus. So he's pretty comparable next to Tytus. So that's pretty cool. All right. So leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Let's see how easy it is to swap these hands out. Wow. It's like really easy to swap his hands out. It's like his wrist guards do come off. Just wonder if his boots come off. That's what I want to know. And that's about it. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Oh, sorry, Paul, I missed what you said. But I'll check out your comments later. So, see you guys next video. Thanks for watching. Bye now. Hey, Hebrew fans, this is Todd. So today, as you guys have seen lots of videos of Tytus lately, I'm going to show you how to turn this tool a way to pick up the snake guys. Now, originally this tool in the 80s had some kind of rubber or something in there, so when you put it over the figure, it would actually pick it up and hold it. This one was designed so you just to slide it over their neck and then try to pick them up, but it just does not work very well, and you'll end up damaging the figures. So today, that's what we're going to cover, is how to make this work so you can actually pick a figure up and lift them with Tytus. So let's go ahead and set King Hiss aside for now until he's ready to be picked up. So to do this, you're going to need a few things. One, you're going to need actually the Tytus weapon. That's one thing. You're going to need some sort of Dremel tool, some scissors, some sort of hole punch or leather punch, and go to Amazon and buy some can coolers that are made to go in your can. They come in a set of 3 or 6, and basically all this is just something you put your soda into to keep it cool. Make sure it has a bottom, and the bottom is made of rubber. So there you go. That's what you need to do this. Go ahead. All right, start sanding these off. All right, there we go. So it's been sanded down a little bit. Let's go and put our Dremel tool away, and let's go to the next step. So the next step is to prepare this to fit inside of here. Now the cool part is it's just about the right size already, but it's way too tall. But first we have to adjust this so it actually grabs the figure correctly. So we want to take and make some a giant plus on here, and you want to locate spot to make some little holes so it doesn't accidentally keep ripping forever. So grab your scissors and find it so you line up straight, and go ahead and just cut up about 1 inch right up here in all 4 directions. Now, before you go any further, let's make sure that's cut enough, because I don't want it to go back and recut it again after the holes are made. So let's just stuff them on there and see if that does pick them up pretty good. So that's just about the right spot we need. All right, goes on there, holds them in place, and comes back off. So that's cool. So now at the end of each one of these cuts, we need to take and make a small hole. And this hole is to make sure it doesn't keep ripping as time goes on. So I find if you use a leather punch for this, you just rotate this around till it ends up on a hole. Oh, I'll take my safety off first. And you can choose the size hole you want by rotating it around. And I'm going to go with about this mid-size hole right here. I think that will be a good one to use for this. So let's go ahead and line that puppy up. And jam a hole in there. There we go. Got one hole. Now the good thing is it comes in a set of 3. So if I mess it up, I can always go back and try another one. So that's the good thing about this. All right, let's line that up and punch a hole. Ugh. One last spot to punch. All right. So there we go. That should keep it from ripping. That'll be good. All right, now the hard part is to get this inserted into his weapon. So the best way to do this is to take and fold the edges of this down so that it becomes half the size. Now you could take and cut this around in a circle too, and that works. Then once you have that the right size, you now take and just kind of fold it and stuff it in there. Just like so. Once you get that stuffed in there, rotate it so that the lines line up with the holes. All right, then you stick it in Titus's hand. All right. And now it's in his hand. You can now and pick up a Snake Man. Ugh. There we go. Suckety fun. Now it looks like it's supposed to. Now, another thing I want to show you is I'm working on that Titus hammer that some of you have seen. And Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd. So today I'm going to make a highly articulated custom Titus figure, just like the title says. So I'm going to use the new He-Man figure to make this from Mondo Tees. And the first thing I did, I wanted to see how far apart this figure would come apart. And so I've already heated up the legs and pulled off this part of the leg right here. So you can see how those come off right there, and we'll use that for later. So we'll just set these aside. And then, as you know, the hands are already removable, so you can pull those off. And then the wrist things come right off. Now, it took you a while to figure this out, but to get this middle part off, you just have to pull apart the figure right at the waist. And then once you do, you can then pull this off, and the cool thing is it has like normal He-Man underwear underneath there, but this belt that he comes with looks more like Titus's belt, so I'm going to go ahead and include this belt on there. So there we go. Ugh. Hard part's getting them back together. I found to get them back together, you may have to hold his 2 legs like this, and hopefully it doesn't break on me, and then push really hard to get it back together. Takes a lot of effort. There we go. Now his armor to get off, you pull off his head, disconnect one side of the armor, up and over the leg pin, or arm pin, and right around. There we go. Now I got Naked Buck ready to go to be turned into Titus. Now first thing you'll notice, when you pull off Titus's head, it has a giant hole where the head's supposed to go, and this is a small little pin. So the first thing you have to do is make something to make the difference up, because otherwise it's just not going to work. So what I've done is I put together a whole bunch of pieces, O-rings and such, and rubber pieces that will then fit on top of here. Oh wait, before I put this on, I need to add these two small little O-rings. And these are the same O-rings I use for the Classics figures to fix the head. If you go to Hebro.com, you will see those listed there. Otherwise it will go down too far. Great, then I put this on, point down. And you can see the stack up. I have some of the angled O-ring pieces in there first. And then after that, I have two flat plastic washers and a standard large O-ring, the one I use for the boot fix. Now the head should fit on there, now that I got enough pieces stacked up. So we'll just pop that head right on there. And there we go. And there's his head. So let's stick the armor on. Pops right on back there. It's looking more like Titus every moment, isn't he? And now, instead of putting this wrist cuffs back on, if you heat him up, you can take off his wrist cuffs and just stick those on in its place, and then put back on the original He-Man's hands that were on there before. There's one. Let's see, that's how it's orientated. And let's use the open hand for this one. There we go, here's the open hand, but not for a gun. And just pop that hand right back on there. There we go. Okay, now the hard part is Titus's boots. This took you a while to figure out. If I use these pieces right here, then these will slide on over the boots because the boots are huge for the piece that connects. Now the nice part is, if you take a look, is these boots are made to go up the same height as part of the shin. So when this disconnects here, it would just work out perfect, so I didn't have to change this figure, because my goal was not to alter this figure at all. So if I want to, I can turn them back into He-Man and not lose any value in them. So look for the insert of the boot, put this on first, and you want the point to go down. You just slide it over the peg, just like that. And now that it's slid on there, it's going to take a lot of force. Just push the boot right in there. There we go. And now his boot is securely on there. It's not going to come off very easily. Let's do the same to the other side. Over the pin. And then stuff the boot on there. There we go. Ta-da! And now I have a highly articulated Titus. Now he does look a little skinnier than the other Titus, but he is pretty cool looking if you ever wanted a highly articulated one. So now you can have your Titus be more articulated than he came with originally, so you can do more moves and look more like he fits in with the Classics better. Now, of course, you can go with the standard weapon, the big giant brain sucker picker-upper thing, which is kind of cool. Now, as many of you know, I've altered my brain sucker pickup tool many times. Hey, Hebro fans! I was just getting ready to tear Titus apart to use some parts for some customs. I already took his head off using hot water and his boots off using hot water. Now, this Titus right here happens to be one that I painted more skin color. You can see on his wrist here, this is an original color, and I painted him more skin color to be, you know, more fleshy looking instead of jaundiced looking. But I decided that I was going to just pull this guy apart. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to catch that on video. So that's what this is right here, is me ripping apart Tytus. So let's see if I can tear them apart on camera and live. Maybe I should have heated them up first. Oh. You know what? I'm going to grab my heat gun. I'll be right back. All right, I got my heat gun. Let me plug this thing in. Now, whenever you use a heat gun, you want to make sure you have some place to put it, some sort of heating pad or something else, so you don't accidentally burn yourself or hurt other things around you. So let's go ahead and heat this thing up. Actually, I think hot water probably would have done better, but I don't have a big enough vat in this room to dunk them in hot water. I notice I keep rotating him. I don't want him to overheat in one spot or another, so I keep rotating him. Let's go ahead and try to pull this apart now. Ugh. That is just really stuck on there. There we go. It's a bummer I ended up ripping it, but I was hoping it'd pop off the knob inside there, but what I was trying to get to is the loincloth. I wanted to save this loincloth off of this figure. And you can see I would have, well, it was actually glued it on, so I would have been more careful. I couldn't have got that off, even if I did heat it up enough to get that off. And it's funny, as you can look, it's just made like the classics, but giant. You can see it has the large size there, the small size there. That's cool. But I should have grabbed my screwdriver because I don't want to ruin this loincloth to get it off, but I need to break apart all that glue inside there. Let's see if we can't get that. Oh, I got it. Cool. There is a giant loincloth that will be used for my custom. And you can see the color difference again here between the original color and my new fleshy color I used on this. It's a huge difference. Originally it looked very jaundiced in color. And I was pretty proud at first of my cool paint job, but as time went on, it slowly looked more and more gray to me, and I kind of just got tired of, you know, looking kind of gray. And every time I'd move an arm or move a piece, it would just scrape and come off. So that's why I decided just to go ahead and just forego getting rid of this guy and using his parts for a custom. So these shorts, I'm thinking about putting them, after I sand this out, onto that giant 12-inch He-Man made by Mondo, so he has the right shorts. That's my plan. So I'm going to check that out and see how that works. But I just wanted you guys to see me ripping apart Tytus on camera so you can see what it looks like inside. And there you go. All right, you guys. Thanks for watching. If you have a chance, check out my stop motion movie. I think I might make some fun stop motion just with these figures, since I used them for the title shot. Not the Hebrew in the corner, because he's a classics. But love the Origins figures. They're awesome. And something else that I've done recently, for those that are curious, is I'm going to make a video on this. This is my new hot water system. And I'll explain it in a future video. But it's pretty cool. It's a way to keep the water hot while I'm working on my custom figures, and I'll explain how I made this in an upcoming video. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you later on, and I'll make a video on this soon and explain that as well. Bye now. I go for it or not. I might. It looked really cool. I'm going to go ahead and sand this out, and then we'll get this ready to put onto our Titus. So let me go ahead and pull out my Dremel tool. And I'm doing this live, so it's a little strange for me, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so let me start to sand this thing out. Almost done. All right. So now that I have that all done, I'll sand it out. I'm now going to toss it into that hot water so it can be stretched out and fit right into the new Titus custom figure. Just drop that right in there. There we go. And while that's sitting for its 3 minutes, let's do a little bit of cleanup here because I have a pile of plastic. Let's see, this is getting soft yet. And see, this water, it's kind of cool because it's just the right temperature not to burn you. As you saw, I reached into my hands. So you can pull it out, shake off the excess water, and let's just stick that over the top and see how it fits. Still just a little bit tight, but it's getting close. So I'm going to do a little more sanding on it and throw it back in the hot water again. All right. I think it's as much sanding as I can do until I accidentally go through. So this will be the last shot we have of making this work. Smooth that all up. And drop it in the water. So close. I think we got it. Look at that. Whew. A little bit of finagling, but we got that on there. Now let's pop them back together carefully. I think that's pretty cool. Now he's got the right shorts on at least. How's that? Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. That's all I was working on, was just tearing off Titus's shorts in my other live video and then putting these ones on him. So now he's getting closer. The next thing I have to do is work on the arm cuffs now. because we know the arm cuffs that I used originally were way too big for this, but I really want to have arm cuffs that look like this on my Custom Tytus. So once I get the arm cuffs done, then I will have him complete. So he's getting really close to being transformed into Tytus. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Thanks for the thumbs up, share, like, tell your friends, and I will see you guys next video. Thanks. Bye now. Hey, Hebrew fans, this is Todd. So, I have not even had a chance to clean up since my last video. You can see there's still figures sprawled all over the place from the last video. But I had a question that somebody asked during the live feed, and it was asking me about when I made my Custom Tytus, how did I get He-Man's armor off of him? And I couldn't remember, so I thought, you know what? I'll just make a separate video just for that. So I pulled out my Tytus. I sent him a link. Hopefully he'll join us. So we'll see if he joins us or not. Let's see. We got one person on chat. Hopefully this is you that want to ask the question. If not, hopefully you'll see it later on. And I got this video for you. So, this is kind of a cool custom. Actually, it's like I got to brush out his loincloth. Hold on, let me get a brush. I never noticed I had debris in there. Look at this. Oh. Let me zoom up and you can see the debris in his loincloth. Oh, I'll be right back. It's kind of funny, I didn't notice that was there. What are you looking at here? You were looking at Tytus, and he has debris left over from when I sanded him over a year ago. And I didn't realize I did not get all the debris off him. So you can see the debris left over from when I sanded him originally. I just hurried and fished him and threw him in the box, and there he sat for ever and a day. So let me go ahead and get all that debris off him. Make sure you brush your fur daily. All right. There we go. So the question was, oh, I got green everywhere too from those floors, is how did I get the armor off this figure? Sorry, Lewis. And so I couldn't remember, so I was looking at the armor, and it looks like these little tabs right here come off on the armor. Let me get a light. Actually, I think my light's dead. Well, this light has some power still on it. It's going to die really quick, though. But if you take a look at this, there's these pieces come off that it's hooked on, the hinged area, and I must have heated it up or something and pulled it off. I didn't have to break it. And it actually just fits right back up inside there, that little hinged area. And I can't remember exactly how I pulled it off, but you can see the hinging on there and how that works. So I literally just pulled off one of the hinges on there by you can see how it's starting to bend right now by pulling it. And I just pulled it and then it just popped right out. It doesn't seem as easy to get it back in. If I got some tools, I could probably get it back in or heated it up or something. It'd probably be easier to get back in. But that's all I did. Just like how an old watch works. Then once I got it off one of the pieces, I then pulled his head off and then just slid it on his body down his arm. And that's how I ended up getting the armor off. So I didn't pull his arms off. I just popped one of these on the side. And that's it. And again, I'm not sure if I can get it back in or not. I suppose if I use some heat, I probably could. Or some pliers. But that is how I removed it. I still don't remember doing it, but that's what I must have done because that's what it looks like when it's sitting in the box. So hopefully that answers your question. I love my origins of Prince Adam, the vintage vest. It feels more nostalgic. Yes, nice. I had a question, so that's why I thought I'd answer the question really quick because somebody asked in the last live feed. I didn't respond to it, and then I noticed that he asked it in the video too. It's like, well, this guy must really want to know to ask it twice. Actually, it's like the back comes off even easier. I probably should have done the back. That'd have been easier than the front. So in retrospect, looking at this now, the back piece actually comes out in and out easier than the front one does. So, there you go. I know you can't see these connections. I think it's used to be glued in, but it sure does not look like it's got a lot of glue on there. That came off way too easy. Ugh. But it's so crazy to think how they built this. That this piece is a separate piece, and this is a separate pieces too, and it's just literally hooked in there with that jointed piece. Yeah, if I got a little screwdriver and shoved it in there, I could get it back in. Fit, I tell you. Anyway, you get the idea. But if in retrospect, I'd actually use the back one to do the same thing. I'd probably pull the back bottom one off. The back bottom one's glued on better. Wow, that's crazy. This top one isn't glued hardly at all. This looks like it might be pretty easy to get off. This back bottom corner one. Nope, that one's glued well too. Okay, I guess if I was going to do this again from scratch, I would still pull the same one right here. Oops, I'm out of camera range, sorry. I would still pull this exact same one. I wouldn't try the back one because it's supposed to be glued in. This one didn't have a lot of glue holding it, and yours might. The other three have a lot of glue holding them. So, again, the bottom front corner on the left arm, and then pull the head off and then slide it down the arm. That's the way I got it off. Alright, hopefully that answers your question. Now, for those that don't know my channel or haven't been here a lot, is you can't even sit the sorceress in the chair. No one can. Oh, yeah, she's not sitting back there. She's just standing. She doesn't sit. She just stands on the pegs. For those that don't know, is I used my He-Man Mondo to make this cool giant. Here's what the original giant looked like. And I just wanted a more articulated version. Now he is a little bit shorter, the Mondo statue, and quite a bit skinnier. So you can see, like, he's got kind of the bird legs going on the Mondo statue. And now that he's so articulated, he falls over way too easy all the time. And so I kind of actually like, even though I spent a lot of time and everything else trying to make this one work, I almost like the one from Mattel even better, just because it's not so flopsy-mopsy and falls apart. And being a giant, you're not going to use them for a lot of articulation stuff anyway. Oh, check out the cool hammer. Ooh. And for those that want to get a hammer like this, it's on my Shapeways store. You got to paint it yourself. Another plug to my stuff. And the shield is actually from the 12-inch He-Man figures they made. And I just painted it to match his coloring. So, there you go. Alright, yes, the giants are a lot of fun. The weapons on your customs are way better. Yes, the weapons on the custom are actually from the He-Man figure that, the Mondo figure. So, if you want these ones, you're going to have to get the Mondo He-Man, which he used to be the Mondo He-Man. Now, his hand keeps letting go of the shield. You know, I should see what kind of hands he has. I never really did experiment with the different hands. Maybe a different hand holds the shield better. Let's take a look. Well, we got a fist. That's not really going to work too well for holding the shield. Wish he had an open hand. He has a trigger hand in case you want him shooting a gun. Which he does come with a gun. Believe it or not, he comes with this really cool, giant-sized gun. Which is kind of fun. I was trying to use the wristbands at one time from my Tytus, but they're just way too big on the Mondo's wrists. Okay, what hand do we have here? I wonder if the gun hand would work better for the shield. Let's just give it a try. What the heck? Now here's his original legs that I stole or traded out. Now, one thing I don't like about the Mondo figures is the boots are attached to the calf. Because if I could have kept the calf on and then hooked the boot up, it would have looked way better. It would have actually fit better in the boot, and it would have made him taller, about the same height, by adding an extra inch on there. But for some reason, the boots are glued on to the calf, and they're not separable. I wish they would have made those part. And it's funny because everything else in this figure is completely break-apartable. I mean, you can break apart at the waist, his legs come off, his biceps and shoulders. That's just kind of cool. If you pull this figure apart, it's really a strange setup the way they got it. Is usually our figures, the elbow goes into the bicep and the bicep goes into the shoulder. On this figure, the elbow goes into the elbow goes into the shoulder. And the bicep is just an empty tube in between. It's the weirdest kind of structure I've seen for a figure, and it works well. So really, this bicep's not connected to anything. It's just a tube with a hole going all the way through for the connection point from the elbow to the shoulder. And it's like, you know what? That was actually a pretty genius design to do the biceps that way. Instead of having separate pins all the way through, you just have an empty tube that connects it. So it's so weird that they have all these separated points that you can pull apart, but yet the boot to the shin does not separate. I don't know what they missed there, which is what I was complaining about when I was looking at my, because that would look so much better. You know, I might try to take it apart again, being it's been now over a year. See if I can break the glue on that or figure out how it's done, because I don't think it's painted. If you look inside there, of course now my light is completely dead. If you look inside there, you know what? I'm grabbing the light. I'll be right back. You guys can stare at the two Tytuses. We'll plug this one in too. My light died. It died last time too. I am back. Oh. All right, let's see. Yes, that light works. Whew. All right, so if you look inside here, you can see the paint goes all the way down to the bottom of the boot where it connects. So it must just be glued on. Now, I'm not sure what kind of glue they use or what I'm going to expect when I pull this off. But if I can somehow make this piece work with those boots, that'd be way better. It won't look quite so such wimpy legs because without that calf on there. You know what? That might, if I figure it out, it might also help me when it comes time for changing out the boots on my scare glow that I've been complaining about. So I'm going to have to figure that out. It's been too long to not figure that out yet. Now, it used to have fur around it, but I pulled the fur off a long time ago as it got kind of messed up when I soaked them in water the first time. But there's got to be a way to separate those. Oh, that's not good. It's got a small crack forming on his leg right there. Hebrew, you don't have a flocked panther? I do have a flocked panther. I just keep them in the box. I opened them up once, played with them for a few minutes, and realized, you know what? I'm just going to keep them in the box. But I am going to have to figure out how to separate these legs without ruining the boot. I think I might have just did that when I was forcing it just a second ago. Let's see. People were talking about do the arms come off Mondo? Yes. Not at the shoulder, but at the bicep. I've not been able to pull the shoulder off yet. I didn't try. but they do come off at the bicep because they disconnect at the elbow. I was really surprised when I pulled off the elbow that one time, and all of a sudden the bicep just kind of fell off. I was like, wow, okay. Oh, the hand. That's right. We were going to swap the hand. And see if the... And it's weird, is even the arm things come off. I mean, it's kind of crazy how much you can take these guys apart. Actually, you know what? That hand does work better, using the hand that's made for holding the gun. And there we go. Alright, well, hopefully it answers your question about the armor. Hopefully you tuned in or watch it again. It was so frustrating. You see this head? I was so excited to get this head. That's why I bought the Mondo figure in the first place. It was just for this head, because I wanted to use it on my 12-inch He-Man figures. And I found out this head is way smaller than the 12-inch He-Man figures. Even though the Mondo's figures are 12 inches, and the head works okay on him, but once you put it on an actual 12-inch remade He-Man figure with his wide shoulders, it just looks ridiculous. It's a small little pinhead on the He-Man figure. And so I ended up sticking the head on this actually on the other Tytus that I stole all the parts from. Let me show you. Come here, flea man. So you can see, I made my own 12-inch He-Man figure out of a Tytus figure. Now, of course, the boots aren't right, but and the head still looks a little weird, but it's better than it did on the 12-inch He-Man. You can see here I just painted this sword silver. It's one of the swords I got from eBay. It was green at one time. But it works. I mean, it does look a little silly, but he sits on my top shelf. Let's see. Pop Actress said he's never seen a flocked panther. I think Tytus needs a Grim Reaper style scythe. Being a giant, right? That people would be like blades of grass to him. He might have a short cringer for you, Rick. Mine is in the box too, flocked panther. Mike says I'm close to 5'10". 5'9". You guys are still talking about your height? Alright. Fun fact, my Tytus was free after a claim to eBay. Mine had the head broke on the inside. We'll post in the lounge. Alright, Lewis. Yeah, the head does look small on there. You should see how it looked on the 12-inch He-Man. It looked really ridiculous. Which is funny because I think it looks small because it sits lower on his neck, but really it's not much smaller than the Tytus head. And it is a little bit, but not immensely. So it's kind of weird why it looks so small on that body. I think it's just because it's shoved down further on his neck. And it's funny too, look at the color difference in these two Tytuses. I mean, this one's way more jaundicey looking than this one here is more tan looking. I probably should swap that out because I kind of like the more tan version better than the jaundice version. Alright, I'm going to check out your guys' last comments, then I'm going to end the video. Hopefully the guy showed up that wanted to ask the question. Let's see. Big Bad Toy Store is sending tons of new Moto figures. Yes. How tall is Classics Tytus? I don't have my tape measure right here, but he's supposed to be 12 inches. And so he is a lot shorter than a Tytus figure that came out in the 80s. That Tytus figure was 16 inches, I believe. So a 4-inch difference in height. Which is funny because classic figures are taller to begin with. So you would think that because they're taller to begin with, to make the giant correct, you would need like a 20-inch size figure, which would have been really cool if they made a 20-inch Tytus. That would have rocked. Eric says, jaundice. I just learned what that word. Thanks, Todd. Yep, the original Tytus was close to 16 inches. I kept thinking he was 18, but he's like 15 or 16, depending. And these are only 12. So, yeah, I have a picture. I can post it later. The different heights. Nice pop actor. Alright, anyway, I'm going to kill this feed. I was on here just for one purpose only, and that was to answer the question about the armor. Again, if you showed up, I just basically popped this corner off right here. I think I might have heated it up. As you pull it, you can kind of see how it starts to bend, and eventually it will pop right out, the hinge part. And then to get it back in, I haven't ever got it back in, so I didn't care to put the armor back on, but I imagine you'd have to bend it and stick it back on, and it's probably easier to do with heat than it is trying to do it cold like I am right now. I'd use a screwdriver and push on this corner at the same time and put it back in with a bend on it. Well, you know what? I'm able to get it in right now without the heat. Let me see. So I had a screwdriver on my table. I used to have a screwdriver on there all the time, but I just picked up my tools and put it away. So yeah, without that extra little help to shove that in there, I can't do it, but there you go. Alright. And I did keep all of my original parts to turn them back into, he's over there in the corner, to turn him back into He-Man if I choose to. So he still has his armor and still has his original, well, his original shorts are actually underneath those shorts. I just put that over the top of them. So you can see his original shorts right there, underneath there. So I just literally put this over the top of his shorts. I sanded it all the way around after I broke a Tytus in half. Yeah, check out the cool sword these Mondo figures come with too. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So yeah, I know, I did give him more weapons than he would normally have, because obviously Tytus has a giant thing that looks like it should belong in a beauty salon. It's funny. Here's the original Tytus thing we got, and the idea is it goes on their head, and you slide it on, and then it sits on their chin, and then picks them up like that. But being it's hard plastic, it doesn't really work too well. So what I bought was a cup, or a can cooler, those little foam can coolers. I sanded down the tips of this so they weren't quite as big. I punched 5 holes and then cut it out. And now, when you stick it on someone's head, it actually holds them. As you can see, it actually just goes up inside there and then holds it in place nice and tight. So you can actually pick up figures that way instead of having to slide their head over. And then I made a third version where I flipped the handle over. So you can see, here's the original one, and then here's the new one. And to me, it made more sense to flip the handle over because this Tytus is shorter than the one we got in the 80s. Of course, I never got it in the 80s, but the one that was released in the 80s. And so once you snag a figure, if it's right side up, you have to lift it so high to capture him. This way, he's only being lifted off the ground a little bit from being captured. Or if you have it the other one, stand here. See, it's so low to the ground that you have to lift it so high that you can't get a good solid hit on them very easily. And then lift them. The amount of force it would take to lift somebody off the ground from that angle would be tremendous. So which is why I made a flipped handle version, because now I can smack them in the head, pick them up, and it just seems to functionally work better for the height. Now again, if we had a 20-inch Tytus, then that other one would make sense. But anyway, I digress. Yes, it does look like the hair salon. That's what it always reminded me of. I can see it now. My hair needs to be redone. Thank you, Tytus. Yep, kind of crazy. When is the new Mondo He-Man expected? I'm not sure when it's supposed to come out. Alright, Lewis, cool. Thanks for posting that. I'll check it out later. And for those who don't know what the lounge is, if you go to the description in this video, it says something like Facebook groups. If you click that, it will take you to the Lounge Grayskull. And there you can join up. And then any member can approve you. So if you guys see someone that's waiting to be approved, you can go ahead and approve them and bring them in. The other day we had someone who tried to get approved. I denied them because I first approved them, then I looked at their site and it's like, oh, it's a bad site. It's probably the same people that were posting all the porn links on our chat. So anyway, I denied them. Put your He-Man that the hair goes sideways. Oh yeah. Let's see if I can find where I put him. Oh, I see a He-Man sword over here. Oh no, that's not the sideways hair one. There it is. There's the sideways He-Man hair. He-Man in the salon. A day at the salon for He-Man and the monsters of the universe. Oh. Yeah, I tell you, adding that can cooler was such a cool idea. See how easy it is? You just take and you punch the 5 holes and stick it in there. Let's see if I can pull it out without destroying it. It's been in there so long. Now you do have to cut it shorter. So you can see the can cooler. And of course it got deformed from being shoved inside the weapon for so long. I just took and cut it in half. And you can buy these on Amazon. And then I just stuffed it inside there. Just like so. And I rotate it so that the holes line up with the open holes. And then you got yourself a way to capture your figures. Just like it was supposed to be in the 80s. Let's see, he says I should blow my hair under like that. Oh. Yeah, I like keeping this head on this He-Man being. He flings around left and right. It makes more sense that his hair would be flopping all over the place. Yep, and again, that is all that I got. Like and subscribe. I got more of a mess to clean up now. And I will see you guys next video. My son had Imagine X Joker with 2 arms like that Tytus weapon. Oh, nice. Alright. Good journey, you guys. There we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, that does just look so cool. I know I did a whole video on it already, but I am so looking forward to this figure. He just looks so cool. Like I said, I was not a fan of the original one, even though I got him just to make my giant. But I just didn't like the head they had on him, and the alternate head wasn't that great either. But that new head, that just looks so cool. I mean, that is a He-Man head, if I've ever seen one. I'm probably going to put mine in battle armor and leave them that way. And this is a magnet in the front here that snaps on and off with the magnet. So that's pretty cool. Yep. Oh, and I love the clear sword. I hope it's clear. It looks like it's clear. Hopefully it's not just painted to look like it's clear. Hopefully it actually is truly clear. I'm so excited. So I know where I'll be on the 21st. I'll be deciding whether to get 1 or 2. It'd really be cool to get 3, but there's no possible way at the price it's going for that I can get 3. Alright, anyone see the fix you can do to Beastman's chest? I haven't seen that yet, Adrian. Like you guys know me, though, I've been avoiding all the videos about the new figures that come out, so when I do my review, it can look you know, the first time I've seen it, so I can look surprised about stuff. Oh. I have to admit, though, because of Mondo, I really like my giant Tytus figure. Now, of course, the battle axe is going to be the same, but you can see the difference between these two Tytuses. So, this one is the original Classics one we got, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's just... he doesn't have a lot of movement. You know, he does have elbows and knees, but just not a lot of actual movement. Now, I did use the shield from the 12-inch He-Man we got, the Giants. And then I also made my own hammer for him. So it is pretty cool. Now, of course, he came with this weapon right here. And I took one of those can coolers and put it inside there and cut it out. So you can actually pick up a figure with it now. Shunk. Just like the original toy was. So, kind of a fun dealy bob. Anyway. Nope. So close. Would have been an awesome ride for Tytus. He could have came riding in on his Dino, ready to fight. All right, let's take a look. Oh, those guys are going to regret wearing the loincloth. I have more Battle Cat accurate colors than Masterverse Battle Cat. Yeah, if you were to print some kind of Dino armor for him, you'd have to raise the saddle up so they're not actually sitting with their legs around the dinosaur. Yep, pretty cool though. I have to admit, seeing Tytus come riding in on this would be pretty cool. That would be the ultimate thing. Yep, exactly, Nerf Curator Brian. That's what I was just saying. You have to actually raise it up. Let's see. I guess you could move him more up on the neck. Hopefully I don't knock him over, though, from his weight. So you could put him way up there on his neck, but it is kind of a strange ride to have him that far forward. I always hated that Triceratops that He-Man had where he actually rode him on his head. That just seemed weird. Ugh. So what's funny, as big as this guy is, he's actually still smaller than the Mattel one. I just realized that. Here's why: is the Mattel one we figured out was about 17 inches high. This figure is about 12 inches high. So you can see, in comparison, he's about the right size if you want to go with the scale of Tytus. But as far as the dinosaur they made back in the 80s that they were going to release, he's actually shorter. But Tytus is also shorter too than the one they had in the 80s. So there you go. All right, let's look at your final comments. Then I'll be ending the video. Hey Eric, my day was good. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's hard to see all the comments when doing the video sometimes. Yeah. Oh, there goes my iPad. I can't see any more of your guys' comments. Sorry about that. All right. Like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next video. And hopefully I'll be able to do more this week. I got this week off from work, so that'd be cool to get back to doing some videos. Just been so busy with everything else right now. All right, and good journey. Bye now.
If you found it enjoyment, like,